We spend so much time trying to stand out that we forget how powerful it is to simply get clear. Clear on what we serve, clear on what we offer, on why it matters. And yet, for so many designers, choosing a niche feels like narrowing down something that's meant to be expansive. But what if it's the opposite? What if clarity isn't a limitation, but a kind of freedom? Welcome to the House Up podcast, your go-to space where design, cognitive sciences, well-being, and business come together. I'm your host, Monica Costa, and today you're tuning into a design business capsule, an exploration into strategies and insights that support the business behind your design practice. This podcast is powered by Hausense, born from its mission to guide designers in creating spaces for well-being grounded in cognitive science, and brought to you in collaboration with Jordi and Duhar, the strategic mind behind it. Let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that seems straightforward when you first hear it, but in practice, it stirs a lot. Choosing your niche. It sounds like a strategic business step, and it is, but for most of us, it's also something much deeper. It's personal, it's vulnerable, and it brings up fears about being too specific, about leaving people out, or closing doors too early, maybe. I felt all that myself. When I first launched my design business, I wanted to help everyone. I really believed that being open to all kinds of clients would mean more opportunity. But what actually happened is the opposite. The more I tried to speak to everyone, the more my message blurred, the less people connected. I became harder to find, harder to remember, and harder to hire. And this isn't just my story. I've seen it again and again with our mentees. Designers who felt stuck, overwhelmed, or inconsistent in their business. And once we helped them clarify who they were talking to and what they wanted to be known for, everything started aligning. Their offer became clearer, their confidence grew, and their clients became more committed. Because suddenly their message had direction, and direction is magnetic. But I get why it's hard. I really do. When you're passionate about many things and are also capable of serving different types of people, it's tempting to try to be available to everyone, to cast a wide net. But here's what we always come back to. When you try to go in every direction, you don't really go anywhere. Let's say you're a designer who does it all: residential, commercial, styling, and you're posting one day about minimalism, then the next about boho, the next about neurodesign. From the outside, it's confusing. A potential client sees your feed and thinks, well, she's talented, but I'm not sure if she's the right fit for me. On the flip side, when your messaging is specific, when it speaks to a particular type of person with a particular problem, it lands. It creates trust and recognition. On the flip side, when your messaging is specific, when it speaks to a particular type of person with a particular problem, it lands. It creates trust and recognition. That's when someone pauses and says, wait, she's talking about me. And then the most important thing happens. They choose you. So today, we're going to break this down because choosing your niche isn't about boxing yourself in. It's about choosing direction over confusion, clarity over noise. And that's where everything starts to change. Now, before we dive in, let's clear up something I see a lot of designers wrestle with. We hear a lot about niching and target audience, and they're often used like they mean the same thing, but they're not. And when you actually understand the difference, everything gets a little easier. So let me explain real quick here. Your target audience is the kind of person you want to work with, the people your offers are for. They have a lifestyle, a set of values, and also common struggles. And the more clearly you understand them, the easier it is to speak their language and then connect with them in a real way. Your niche, on the other hand, is what you're helping them with. It's the transformation you're offering, the problem you solve, and why that matters to them. And from your perspective here, you bring everything you have in your backpack as your tool set to create an effective and deeply aligned service. So aside from talking about what you do, When we talk about niche, we're also looking at who it's for and why it works. And the truth is, figuring this out can feel messy. It's not always obvious. That's why at Hausense, we've created a process to help designers find more clarity and direction when it comes to this. We call it the niche compass, and it's become a really powerful tool inside our programs. It's a 5-step method, and we're going to walk through it together here in this episode, gently and one layer at a time. First, we're starting with discovery, exploration, and alignment mapping. So let's start there with you, because before you define who you serve or how you position yourself, you need to get clear on what's actually true for you. This first step in the niche compass is all about self-discovery. It's where you map out what lights you up, what's naturally gifted to you, what you value, what you need in order to do your best work. Not just to serve others, but to sustain yourself in the process. And for this, we like to use an expanded version of the Ikigai model, not the basic 4-circle ones that you've probably seen on Pinterest, but a deeper framework with 6 prompts that help you look at your business through the lens of real alignment. So if you're journaling or listening somewhere, you can reflect. Here are 6 questions we walk our mentees through that can actually help you. The first one being, what do I love? What parts of design make me lose track of time and feel most alive? The other one is, what am I really good at? What comes naturally to you? And what do others always seem to recognize in you? The next one is, what does the world actually need and that I care about? What problems do you feel drawn to solve? What tensions in the world catch your attention again and again? The next one is, what can I actually get paid for? Here I'm talking about noticing where your skills and the market overlap. What's in demand that you can actually offer, that you want to offer? The next one is, what can I get paid for? Here I'm talking about noticing where your skills and the market overlap. What's on demand that you can actually offer? The next one is, what are my core values? These are the things that you want to protect in your work. They guide your decisions and shape your boundaries. And last but not least, what are my non-negotiables? What drains you? What makes you lose your spark? What has to be in place for your work to feel sustainable? You don't need perfect answers to any of these, because more than impressing anyone, it's about being honest with yourself. So write them out, let the answers unfold slowly if they need to. What you're looking for are themes, emerging patterns that connect your strengths with your values, with your vision, with your boundaries. For some of our mentees, these themes have shown up around wellness, motherhood, mental health, luxury, peace, and for others, clarity, slowness, or freedom. And once those themes start to show up, you're not just guessing anymore. You're starting to move from scattered to centered. And that's the first step in choosing a niche that's very effective, but even more authentic. The second step is resonant audience and impact zones. Now that you're clear on what matters to you, let's talk about who you're best positioned to serve. Your resonant audience is the people you naturally connect with, the ones you feel aligned with, your values, your energy, and your way of working. Ask yourself, who do I enjoy working with? And who actually feels seen by my work? Think about the people who light you up, those who say things like, you put words to what I've been trying to say or explain for years. That's resonance. And once you know who they are, get clear on the emotional shift your work creates for them. Are they going from overwhelmed to grounded, from scattered to focused, from disconnected to at home in their space? That emotional transformation is part of your niche too. From there, you go to step number 3, which is identify your ideal market and client fit. This step is often skipped, but in our experience, it's critical. Let's be real. Not every client is the right fit. And that doesn't make them bad people. It just means their energy, expectations, or way of working might not align with how you do your best work. This step is about noticing who brings out your best and who drains you. For this, a good question is, who leaves me energized? Who leaves me doubting myself or feeling small? Pay attention to the environments and the temperaments that help you thrive. This is where you start defining your non-negotiables, things like communication styles, limits, boundaries, values, and expectations. Because When you're clear on what works for you, you start attracting clients who respect your process and repelling the ones who don't. That's not filtering people. It's honoring your capacity and protecting your own persona. And now that we're almost done, for step number 4, we're going to prioritize our niche selection. At this point, you've likely uncovered a few possible directions, maybe 3 or 4 niches. It's decision time. We suggest you rate each option based on the following: alignment with your passions and strengths, fit with your values and lifestyle, market demand and budget potential, the depth of transformation you can deliver, and how easy it is to connect and build trust with that audience. The niche that scores highest across the board becomes your primary niche, which is your anchor, your launchpad. You can also choose 1 or 2 secondary niches to develop over time. Think of these as branches of the same tree. They should feel connected and coherent. And last step, and maybe the most important, is the narrative design and story integration. This is where you turn all your clarity into a compelling story, one that makes people feel something. Why this niche? Why these people? What in your personal story brought you here? Maybe it was burnout. Maybe it was becoming a mom. Maybe it was a big move, a health crisis, a career pivot. Whatever it is, let it shape your voice and your message. This story becomes your brand's emotional fingerprint. This will guide you to define the emotional tone of your brand. Choose 5 to 6 words like intuitive, grounding, calming, empowering that describe the experience you want to help people have when you work with them. That's what makes you memorable, and that's what helps you connect with them, making you you and stay in the top of mind of your potential clients. So to wrap this up, I want to bring it back to why the niche compass matters so much. Just to state it clear, more than a branding exercise, it's a way of building a business that's rooted in who you are. We want to make it profitable, yes, but we also want it to be sustainable. We need it to be able to evolve with us and vice versa. It allows space for strategy, but most importantly for meaning. It helps you clarify your strengths, your values, your purpose, and match those with people you truly resonate with and you want to work with. It invites you to set boundaries that protect your energy and define the kind of relationship you want to have with your clients. It helps you choose a niche that doesn't just make sense, but actually feels right. And maybe, most importantly, it encourages you to bring your story into the center of it all. And let's take into account that that's where connection lives. That's what makes your brand feel real and human and unforgettable. Now, let me tell you, if you're still feeling unsure, that's completely okay. Choosing your niche is not a one-time perfect decision. It's something that grows with you. But having a tool like this helps you move forward with more clarity, more intention, and less noise from the outside. And if you're feeling like you need help with this and you don't want to figure it out alone, or you're curious about how this could unfold with real support behind you, this is exactly the kind of clarity we work with inside the HAUS mentorship. It's where we walk side by side with designers like you to build businesses that feel aligned, structured, and genuinely reflective of who they are. If this is something that sparks your attention, you can learn more about this at hausense.design/mentorship, or just head to the link in the show notes. Because this is the kind of work that changes how you show up, not just in your business, but in how you value your own potential. Thank you for sharing this space with me today on the HAUS Hub podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be grateful if you shared it with someone who needs it. And if you haven't yet, follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube so you don't miss what's next. We drop new episodes every Tuesday. And hey, thank you for being here. Stay well, stay curious, and keep designing your life with intention. See you next time.